Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sports Lowdown. This is Brad Swanson. I will be joined momentarily by my co-host Lee Knapp, and we are bringing you the Sports Lowdown as we do every Wednesday, 6 p.m. right here on channel 98.9 FM. We thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoy this show, and we will be bringing you the show throughout the entire year. We will stay with our spot on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m., and we will try to keep you abreast of what is going on in the high school sports world. We've had a lot of excitement going on so far here in the winter sports season. We have the swim teams going full bore. They took on a very tough Fairview team, and the Fairview teams, both the girls and boys, came in unbeaten and left Corry unbeaten as well, as they got by our Lady Beavers and Beavers. Benjamin Good won 3 events for Corry, and he joined teammates Laban Earhart, Nathan Lesher, and Jonathan Elbers in winning the 200 medley relay. Earhart also won the 200 freestyle and finished second in the 100 freestyle, and Lesher was a winner in the 100 backstroke, finished second in the 200 IM, and Jonathan Elbers finished second in the 500 and third in the 200 freestyle. Bethany Anderson led the Lady Beavers. She had third place swims in the 50 free and the 100 backstroke, and she also teamed up with Caitlin Anderson, Rachel Hyatts, and Mackenzie Mitchell to finish third in the 200 medley relay. Mitchell finished second in the 100 freestyle and fifth in the 200 freestyle. Caitlin Anderson finished third on the diving board, and Hyatts placed third in the 100 breaststroke. The Lady Beaver and Beaver swimmers hit the road Thursday, traveling to Harbor Creek, take on the Lady Huskies and Huskies in another Region 2 matchup. So that's what's happening in the swimming world. The wrestling team went to Faulkner and came home with the team trophy once again. Second team trophy that they have earned this season. So they are definitely on a roll. And speaking with Coach Mark Muncy, he said that the key is the kids wrestling hard all weekend, and if they don't take first place, finishing hard and staying in contention, it's those second, third, fourth, and fifth place spots that get you a lot of team points. So that's where he said his team is starting to really excel at staying in there, and kids doing great in the wrestlebacks. So an excellent finish once again by the Corry Beaver wrestling team. Now the boys basketball team took one on the chin against Harbor Creek. That was a big region loss, and Corry has a big region matchup Friday night against the Warren Dragons. Also going to be a blackout night, they call it, at Corry Area High School. So if you attend the game, please wear black and join in the blackout. And hopefully the Beavers will get on fire and be shooting lights out and beat those Dragons. Lady Beavers are plugging away. They're pushing each and every day to get better. And they played a tough Harbor Creek team and lost on Monday night. Lady Beavers are a very young team. They're coming along. They have some good coaches that are helping out with the program right now. And the Lady Beavers' future looks bright. There's a lot of young kids out there, quite a few sophomores playing. So the future of Lady Beaver basketball looks really good. And we hope that they continue to stick together, and they're taking their lumps now, but that's the way it works when everything comes together. The boys basketball team took their lumps over the last few years, and now they're coming together, and they're right at the top of the region right now. So we hope to see the Lady Beavers jump into that spot as well. as well as our swimmers. Our boys swim team is 5-3 so far. The girls, as I have spoke with Lee quite a bit about, Lee is our swim guy. He is, well, if you think about it, the name Knapp is synonymous with swimming in Corry. So Lee's been around the sport for a long, long time, still officiates. He's coached it, he's participated, and now officiates. So he has given me the inside scoop that the girls team will be very, very strong next year, as we have a group of 8th graders that will be coming in that will really bolster the girls team. So that's good to hear. And that's where it all starts, folks, is the feeder programs. And we have some excellent feeder programs in all of our sports here in Corry. So the future for Corry sports does look really, really good. We hope that participation remains high. We have a lot of kids that are participating. It's fun to see, as I mentioned before, fun to see these kids that are not really sure what sport they want to do, if they excel at maybe a fall sport, maybe a spring sport, but want to participate to stay active in the winter. Sometimes they pick up a sport and realize that maybe they should have been doing it all along, or wish that they had anyway. So it's always fun to see these kids jump in there and to help out by participating in a different sport. And even if they're just getting in here and there into the action, or just helping out by being a good competitor in practice, that's always a positive for the team. You're out there helping your team out, whether you're in a reserve role or a starting role. You can be very effective and very helpful to the overall team. So really nice to see kids go out for different sports, try things, and we like to see it at an early age so they can get an idea of what sports may be their strong points. And we've talked about this several times too on this show, that participation is huge, and being a one sport athlete is a very difficult thing to do. We do have a few kids that are one sport athletes that excel at their sport, but over the years I've spoke with Mike Fedition, our trainer. I spoke with several coaches from around the area, different school districts, Corry School District, Union City School District, our friends over in Clymer. And the coaches all seem to agree that in order to be a very talented athlete, it's always better to be participating in more than one sport. Not saying that you have to do everything you can possibly do, every sport, but participating in a couple sports enhances your strong sport, I believe. And also, in speaking with these people, I asked the question, do you think that multiple sport athletes are less susceptible to injury? And everyone that I've spoke to has said yes, they agree with that the more active you are, the less susceptible you would be to injury. Plus, if you're a football player in the fall and you're on the track team in the spring, and you decide to swim in the winter months, you're exercising a whole variety of muscle groups, and therefore strengthening your entire body and giving yourself the edge as far as to being able to compete and not get hurt. So those are a few things that we've covered over the past year here on this show. Doing the show, we've talked about multiple sports and how effective that it is to be a multi-sport athlete. Back in the day, the traditional three-sport athlete played football, basketball, baseball, if they were a boy. And nowadays, that's not really the case. You see a lot of kids participating in different sports. And one sport that we haven't really touched on a whole lot that I think is wonderful and gives a lot of kids that maybe aren't into sports that have a ball or whatever the case may be, but that is our trap team. And that's a sport that's really picking up, and there's great participation. And why not when you have a successful program like we do? And they have excellent coaches, and they do an excellent job. They get these kids motivated to go out and compete, and our kids do that very, very well. And, you know, now you're starting to see some of these shooters have moved on and are participating in the adult leagues during the summer months. So it's something you can do all your life. My thing is bowling. That's something that we don't have a competitive bowling team at the school. We always, there's a few of us that always wish that we had been able to do that. But there are a few up in Erie, and those are the girls. They have girls bowling teams. Why they don't have boys bowling teams, I'm not really sure. But I think that would be kind of neat down the road if maybe we could come up with something like that, have a bowling league that would give more kids yet the opportunity to participate and belong to a team. So there's all kinds of different things you can do, and even though bowling is not a high school sport, you can still go down to Bowl Air Lanes on Saturday, and even though the season's already started, you can join any time. So if it's something that you might want to encourage your children or your neighbor, the neighbor boy or girl or whoever, to try something and get involved and be part of a team, tell them to stop down to Bowl Air Lanes, see Mary Norton. She's been instructing for a good many years. She was my instructor back in the day. She and Barb Peterson, and Barb Rogers is who I'm referring to. Barb, the bus driver. Barb and Mary were my bowling instructors, and I like to think that they did a great job. And just great ladies, and they would, I know Mary would love to have more kids involved, so stop down on Saturday morning. I believe the bowling alley is open at around 9:30 or so. I think they start bowling at 10, and they have two different times too, so that if kids are doing something in the morning, if they're involved in something else, they can bowl in the afternoon. I believe that's at 1 o'clock. But stop down or call down to Bowl Air Lanes and ask about junior bowling. We're going to take a time out, and when we come back, I'm hoping that my co-host Lee Knapp will be here, and we'll chat a little bit more about high school sports right here on the Sports Lowdown. We'll be back after these important messages. Welcome back to the Sports Lowdown. This is Brad Swanson bringing you the Sports Lowdown like we do each and every week right here on channel 98.9 FM. And it appears as though my co-host Lee Knapp will not be able to make the show tonight, but he will be back, I'm sure, with me next week as we get ready to gear up for the second half of action. That's right, second half of the winter sports season is coming up. So this Friday, I believe, as I said, Corry will be hosting Warren in the blackout basketball game, and I believe that is the final game of the first half. So Corry desperately needs a big win there to control that region. Also, big region matchup in wrestling, that's tonight as the Beavers travel to Eisenhower. Both teams come in 5-0 in dual meets, and the Beavers would love to be the region champs this year. And standing in the way right now are the Knights of Eisenhower. So big matchup there as well. So we have all kinds of fun and interesting stuff going on. We hope that you get a chance to get out and support your winter sports teams. And speaking of winter sports, I did mention briefly that I chat from time to time with coaches from around the area in different school districts such as Union City and Clymer, and looking at the results of some basketball. The Lady Pirates fell to Frewsburg on Monday. They lost 59-29, and also the boys team at Clymer is they're holding their own. They're kind of I believe that's an upstart team again, as the program has changed around, and there's a few changes being made as there is quite frequently. You lose kids to graduation, changes things around quite a bit, and I believe that the Clymer girls and boys basketball teams will get stronger, as will the Corry teams, and it's just a transition year. Same with Union City. Union City's girls basketball team struggling a little bit right now. Their boys team is kind of in the middle of the pack, and they're all young, so that's it's very tough when you hit these rebuilding years. You get a couple of years where you're in the middle of the pack, or maybe even down a little bit further, but then you pick it up a notch, and next thing you know, you have a very strong group of kids that are juniors and seniors. And it's another tough thing, and it's tough for spectators, fans of sports who love sports, to see kids not participating because the program is not that strong. Well, make a difference. Be open-minded and be confident in yourself that maybe you could help and make a difference and strengthen the program. So, go out and participate and help your school out, help your teams out. That's going to do it for tonight's show, as we have an abbreviated program tonight. But as I said, Lee will be back joining me next week, and we will bring you a lot more sports info. We have a kind of a fun segment coming up that I've been working on, and I'm almost have that completed. Should be able to do so by the end of this week. So hopefully next Wednesday we'll let you in on what we're doing. It's going to be fun and interesting. So keep your radio dial tuned to channel 98.9 FM. Make sure you listen every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to the Sports Lowdown with myself, Brad Swanson, and my co-host, Lee Knapp. Until next week, everyone be safe, get out and support those teams, and go Beavers.